for you and one for you.
Thank you.
And there you are, sir. Anyway, and all good. Now let's see what else is going on. Well, obviously, as we speak, again, we can't be a newscast because you could listen to this any time in the world. But as we speak, just a short while ago, the Supreme Court ruled against Roe versus Wade, saying it was not part of the Constitution, which certainly made sense. Anyway, we'll talk about that. And I love watching all the screaming maniacs on TV with these protests, and they're jumping and screaming and crying and oh God, I mean, they're just it makes me. It's funny. I mean, I'm laughing at them. I'm laughing at these people, and I'm hoping to God that isn't what's going to change the outcome of the election coming up in a short period of time.
It will, because the problem with Western civilization are liberal white women, and they will vote on this one issue.
Yeah, but on the other hand, they also screwed with Donald Trump, and it may be that we may get some white women, suburban women, against the other white suburban women. So
where we were
until this. So anyway, we'll get into all that stuff. Let's start on a lighter and happier note and whatever stuff. Let's see. Oh, I mentioned last time, and even after the podcast, we stayed here together after the podcast to try to figure out why my Business Suite app on my phone that always worked for me to get onto the Facebook page didn't suddenly work. And you recall we sat here and we tried everything, and you tried codes, and we did codes, and they sent new codes.
We're not going to spend 20 minutes on this.
No, and nothing happened. So we said screw it, and I think Flounder said maybe Mike next week is going to be here, maybe. So I'm figuring, God, I'm going to go for 5 days without having. Okay, so I get home and I'm talking to Flounder, and he suggests or texting. He says, "Well, just delete it and try it again." So I opened it up. I hit the app to delete it, and it opened up and stayed, and it's been fine ever since.
The way it is. It's just teasing you.
I mean, what the hell?
Just seeing if you loved it.
I mean, honestly,
it's like a woman who threatens to leave. And you go, "No, baby, don't go."
Yeah, okay, I changed my mind. I didn't mean it. I mean, I'm thinking, and it was like nothing ever happened. It was all my stuff is there, and nothing changed. So, I mean, and again, but the good news was, boy, it sounds like I'm yelling. I get with these things on. The good news was that neither of you guys could figure it out either.
Well, actually.
Oh, you couldn't? You just didn't want to tell me?
A couple days ago, I found a different wormhole to fall down, and it actually had something I was going to make you do today to try and get it to work again that probably would have worked, but you didn't have to because it started working again.
Really?
Yeah.
There
was another. There's 1,000 rabbit holes on Facebook, as I found this morning, by the way, but we won't get into that. And I found one that actually got to I got hacked this morning. Somebody from Manassas, Virginia, started friending people for me. So I basically changed my password and changed and had them kicked out. So, but it was wormhole. You got to go down rabbit holes, and it's not black and white, A and B. Here's what you do. Here's what you do. It says here's what you do if you think you've been hacked, and then it gives you two choices to make, and neither of them are really the one you want.
I know.
So it's just what it's supposed to be intuitive.
How are you supposed to? I mean,
they
it doesn't
do it
make
on
any
purpose.
sense.
It's a bunch of dweebs out in California who think the rest of the world thinks like them, and nobody thinks like them.
Honestly, okay, and I don't know anything about anything concerning computers and so forth and communication that way, but it would seem to me that if I were running a computer company and I had competitors also running computer companies, I would make it so easy for anybody with a computer to get my stuff.
Do you know any of them that are easy?
No,
because they all think the same.
But I mean, wouldn't it be simpler to say, "Hey, boys, let's hit one button A, and for the rest of your freaking life, you're on the link. You can do whatever you want."
They don't think that way.
I mean, am I that simple of a man to
They consider us the simpletons. And they don't want to make it simple.
I mean,
they think you need to figure it out.
You should never have to do anything except hit the button on this monitor. This is a television network.
You silly man.
An international television satellite.
They've got you anyway.
You should be able to go clink, set me up to all those other ones. Okay, thank you, appreciate it, and you're done.
They're like the Catholic Church in the 1500s.
God.
If they teach you Latin and you can read the Bible, you don't need us anymore.
Well. And it wasn't that long ago they stopped using Latin in the Catholic Mass. When I was a kid, it was all Latin.
Do it.
I'm
and
sure
they're bringing it back.
One of the ones they used to make fun of in The Sopranos when he buried his mother with that the Dei or something, the Ob Dei or Remember that? Do you remember it though?
No,
they had a big feud because she was dead, and they found some special cross in there which represents the Deo Dei or some sect of the Catholic Church, which is really
Opus Dei.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell.
They're the albino assassins.
Yeah, the albino killers for the Pope. All you know is Omnia Gallia Devides and Tres Partes. But again, other than that, and I did translate Wille Ille Pu into English. Anyway, God, what were we? The thing. So the computer's done. So I'm done.
Let's get
I'm back. I'm done. Thank you, and God bless America. Okay. Pow. A quick update. And I put this on Facebook too. The poor girl. Flounder's cleaning helper, Alma, came into my place. I made an appointment for her to come to my place. And before she got there, she asked me on the phone, what did she want me to do? And I said, I don't want the whole place clean. I said, forget the whole bottom floor when you walk in, because that's where all my stuff is from Florida. So I said, I want carpet. I said, do you vacuum? Yes. Do you clean floors? Yes. Okay.
Oh, no. No. More Lysol. No.
Anyway, no clean. Pepsi, no Coke. No. And so I said, I'll have 2 sets of stairs for vacuuming, and the upstairs hallway and a bedroom. I have hardwood floors on the living area that need cleaning, and a small bathroom, a powder room, a regular bathroom upstairs, and the kitchen and living area.
What's a powder room?
Oh my God, that's right.
No, I'm just saying this because you're supposedly a heterosexual man. So how do you have a powder room in your place?
If it doesn't have anything but a toilet, it's a powder room.
It's a John. It's a bathroom.
Oh, my God.
It ain't a powder room.
Oh, my. Give
me your man card.
So uncouth.
Give me your man card.
Oh, dear God.
Flounder, do you have a powder room?
Oh. Yeah, honey, he's
got 2 bathrooms.
Yeah, use the crapper over there, baby. Yeah, go ahead. It's right. The crapper's right over there, honey. Go ahead. Yeah. I'll move into the kitchen for a minute. Yeah.
Where is it? Just smell your way. Go.
God, what is the matter with you? It's the powder room. Hey, this is a classy operation. I got broads from all over the world watching me right now.
Powder room.
It's a powder room. I was married for 30 freaking
powder like
years.
My mom used to have for Christmas.
I had girls running my life for 30 years and still do. Anyway, so I have no idea. So I told her what I want to clean. And so she gave me a price, and I said, okay. And then I said to her on the phone before she came, I said, by the way, if it turns out to be more, I said, if you want more at the end, if you don't think you're getting enough, I'll pay you more. I said, just to be fair, so don't worry about it. Because she didn't know me and she didn't know what was ahead of her, and I don't know what a fair rate is. I just wanted it done, and again, I have not vacuumed my place in 8 years. So all right. So anyway. So she comes in, and I was so impressed. I mean, she's a very lovely, youngish woman, 5'4". I mean, not a big husky thing. And she's got a vacuum cleaner on her back. She has like a giant leaf blower, and she has this huge vacuum cleaner on a backpack, and the things.
That makes sense.
I mean, it was unbelievable. And not only that, I mean, I'm trying to talk too long about this, but I was so impressed. She also had some kind of a brush for the stairs carpet, because the corners of the stairs get really black from just wear and tear, and she could brush all that instead of having them steam clean. She brushed that with a brush and then vacuumed. And unbelievable. She did my floors like crazy. She even I tried to not get in the way, so I was upstairs at my computer half the time and walking around and doing stuff. And so, but I looked over, and she's at my desk is actually my dining room table. My one desk is the dining room table.
On the computer.
And God bless her, she's moving all my papers, trying to dust underneath them. Not move any.
So you're watching her like a hawk.
No, not at all. She was so sweet.
Yeah, you keep doing this to her.
I'm going to prove that I wasn't watching her like a hawk here in a minute. But and she did stuff. She was wonderful. She just cleaned everything. I had just done the wash for Jennifer's bed for when she comes in her bedroom, and I just put him on the bed. She made the bed. I mean, she did everything wonderfully. And Flounder asked me a question, texted me a question. Did she find anything like a firearm anywhere? And I'm not making this up. On my when I do my typing and do my stuff for the show, I'm at my couch where my typewriter is.
Yes, sir.
On a large glass coffee table. And on my couch next to me, I usually have a pair of running shorts and a pair of running slacks. Well, not running slacks. What do you call them? jogging pants or running pants on my couch, depending on what I feel like wearing when I'm taking my jeans off. And under them, I have a pistol, my Colt 45 6-shooter, the gun that won the West, in my Paladin holster. The Have Gun Will Travel, the same guy made mine. And I have that, and I just have it near me by my typewriter under my clothes. In case, I mean, it's like you have Easter eggs, okay? I mean, you want to make sure no matter where you are, if something happens, you can reach down somewhere.
Chase through your condo.
Well, as you know, I saw it in a movie. Anyway,
Mad Max.
So I was upstairs at some point, and I came back down. She not only had found the gun, she had folded the clothes and put them and moved all the pillows properly on the couch. And there's the pistol and this gun belt with all the ammo.
Now she knows where it is.
So, and I thought I never heard a peep. I guess she's probably used to it. I don't know. But it was she found a gun. I never thought anything about it, like an idiot. And I mean, she was wonderful, and I gave her a $40 tip. And I don't know.
Make you look like crap.
No, and I put that on Facebook, and I got a couple of women said, "I clean houses. No one ever gave me a $40 tip." Well, you didn't clean a house that needed a floor done after 9 years. It's been 9 years.
You know what makes those corners of the stairs go black?
What?
Not cleaning them for 8 years.
Well, there you are. Well, I tried that vacuum I bought, and it still doesn't get the corners. You have to brush it. And that's what I mean. Anyway, I was very impressed. So thank you, Alma. She was wonderful.
All girlfriends are the first time.
Well, anyway, I could be her boyfriend. She was very sweet. Let's see. Again, we got a whole bunch of newsy things to talk about and stuff like that, and I don't feel like doing it right now. But I will. I do. Here we go. Want to pass along something, and I put this on Facebook also. A picture of me that you guys, I believe, took when I brought to show you Brooksy's hat. Remember when Brooksy's black cowboy hat?
Yes.
Well, I still had that picture in my phone, and so I put it on Facebook because yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Brooksy passing away, and I posted a thing that said
Already been a year.
I know. Well, everybody said that. I mean, it's unbelievable. And Clarissa, God bless her, she came to the stable and gave me his hat, and it's really a little too big, but it fits. If I cock it just right, it looks good. I mean, I was so thrilled that she did that she thought he would want me to have it, and I was, I was just humbled and overwhelmed. So I put the picture on, and comment after comment about even on my personal Facebook page where people it said, "Who's Brooksy?" And so I explained, and some of them Googled him and so forth. Like Denise, who listens all the time, Googled him to find out what a great guy, a cop and a fireman, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, but check this out. We got a message from our friend Brandon, who listens to the podcast all the time.
He's on Facebook right now. Brandon, head over to YouTube.
Brandon, I'm gonna read your note. Kimmer, what? Excuse me.
That's nothing.
Okay, sorry. Kimmer, it's hard to believe it's been a year already since Brooksy passed away, and it's very strange how our loved ones send us messages from beyond the grave. I work for a company that sells non-lethal tactical gear to SWAT teams and SRT teams. Today I had a demo with APD, and as I was shaking all the cops' hands, one guy said, "I'm Mike Brooks." He writes, "I did a double take and said, 'Mike Brooks?' And he gave me a weird look, so I told him all about Brooksy. Lo and behold, he told me that he knew Brooksy and even went to lectures that Brooksy was speaking at, and that he uses what he learned from Brooksy every time he puts his uniform on to go to work. And his name was Mike Brooks, and it's almost as if Brooksy was telling me, 'Don't forget about me, you shitbird. Miss you, Brooksy.'" I mean, what a great story.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, just the link between I mean, isn't that a little spooky?
Synchronicity, baby, synchronicity. That's
I mean,
the
it is.
thing.
It's spooky, and it's really. I mean, I love it, but it's.
By the way, I said let's go because he said Brandon. I wasn't telling you to let's go.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said.
Let's go.
No, I hadn't heard what you said. Again, my ear things are. I hate the word hearing aids. Ear things, like my ear rockets, are still on with a lot of bare walls, kind of still reverberate a little bit.
So they're not working. Is what you're
no, they work a lot better. I mean, then I can hear things I couldn't hear before. Oh, very very funny, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Davis.
Are you glad you did
it? No, I didn't hear anything about that.
Are you glad you did it?
What's that?
What? Are you glad you did it?
Am I glad I did it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm mad at myself that I caused it. Although, you know, I was thinking back, I may have mentioned this somewhere. My mother was deaf for much of her adult life, and wore a hearing aid, the old-fashioned kind, with a great big thing behind her ear that buzzed and clicked all the time, and she had to yank it out. And you son of a bitch, because she made noises. They were horrible. If people grew up in the 50s.
Maybe she was just ignoring y'all.
No, believe me, they were horrible. Poor thing. And she had one of the very first. I think she had the first one in the whole area of the country. They replaced her hammer, anvil, and stirrup, the bones, and put plastic ones in there, and it worked.
Wow.
And she never needed hearing aids for the rest of her life. But again, she had ear problems, and I did my whole life. I slept on a heating pad every day, every winter. I'd get ear infections. It would rupture my eardrums. So anyway, maybe that was going to happen anyhow. But yes, I'm glad I did them, and they're the most high-tech ones you can get, and insurance covered most of it. I'm out of a few grand, but. And I'm glad I get them, but I'm still kind of getting used to them. Plus, I'm still getting used to them. Oh boy, that changes when I do this. Sorry. Anyway, well,
it does it for everybody.
Smart
it's
ass.
Changing.
No, I mean,
you know what else will do? If you do this and put your eyes, that changes everything.
You can't see as well.
I couldn't breathe so well.
Oh my God. A quick note, and then I want to brag about one of our sponsors and tell you how you can get a hold of us too. I couldn't believe it. I was very thrilled. The Westminster. What? I'm sorry.
Nothing. Keep going.
The Westminster Dog Club show. A bloodhound.
Yeah.
Big one.
First time ever, and it was like Dog Best in Show, the movie. Although the little one won, but the Bloodhound won. His Bloodhound was the star of the show also. The guy who did remember he went to the old folks' home. He did ventriloquist act. What a stupid, I love that stupid movie. Anyway, the Bloodhound, I swear to God, I thought it was going to Bison Fiché, one of those little tainty little terriers, So good for you, judges. I'm happy for you. Coming up. Smussy Jussie Smollett is at it again, doubling down. The side piece, I want to talk about what Tucker's done. Tucker is killing it lately and putting people to shame who are not following the things he is. Also, the latest on Pelosi's husband. This is now becoming more of a story than it had been before, I think. But first, quick, I want to remind you, if you go to thekimmershow.net, you can do pretty much anything you want involving our show. You can get the podcast. You can download 106.3, the radio station where we do, I called in Friday mornings like I did this morning. Our podcast is played at noon for an hour on Saturdays. You can get an address to send us a check if you'd like to. What else, Flounder? They can to get all the podcasts. They click what button?
So when you go to thekimmershow.net, you'll just see the main page, and you'll see where it says The Kimmer Show, and right below that it says Listen Now, and you just click on there, and that'll take you to any Kimmer Show podcast you want to listen to.
Click on Listen Now, and also when you go to it, if you haven't done this yet, please go to the YouTube doohickey. Click on that. When the things come up, click subscribe. And you're done. You don't actually have to. There's no money. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to write anything. Just hit it for YouTube and then hit subscribe. If you do, and once forever, you don't have to do it again. It will help us because if we get enough people signed up, again, we have thousands of listeners, but only hundreds of subscribers.
And we're going to have to slowly transition, and I know it's going to kill you, from Facebook to YouTube, because Facebook warned me again a couple days ago we're this close to being canceled.
About what?
Because people complain about some stuff that we put on there because they don't have a sense of humor, or they're liberal lefties who want to get us off, and Facebook agrees with them. We got another warning saying that you're this close to being kicked off, so make sure you don't do anything that would upset somebody. Basically is what they're saying.
For the podcast Facebook page.
So we're this close. So at some point,
for God's
I start putting everything so we can search, because there will come a day that they're going to kill us. So we should kill them first and put everything on YouTube.
God.
They hate us.
Yeah, but YouTube's even worse, isn't it? Aren't they more of a
if
censor?
If you only put your horse stuff on there, that's great.
Yeah, because with YouTube, it's not like you can post memes and things like that. You're posting videos and
that's it.
Content, really. That's it.
Yeah,
you're not doing like pictures and things like
that. If they can't get us on Facebook.
Facebook is said, they come right out and say, you're like one complaint away.
And the funny thing is it's actually easier to go to a YouTube page than it is a Facebook page.
Yeah, but they won't be able to send us messages, right?
Yeah. Well, what they'll do is we tell them your email. And if they see something on YouTube they like, they can email you with a question about the horse.
And again, that's
at your leisure. You can scroll through and answer whoever
that
you want.
Be tens of thousands.
What's tens of thousands on Facebook?
Oh my. Okay, all right.
It's the same thing.
The thing is what that would do is instead of people going to Facebook, they're going to go to our website. We want people to go to our website and then go to the other links through there. That gives us the clicks.
It takes the power away from Facebook.
The website is thekimmershow.net.
That's it. And again, there's an email, so if you do have any questions or anything, you can go there. And
if you send it to me, I'll send the email to him.
Yeah. So I'll talk to when Mike's going to be here next week. We'll figure out where we want that email to go.
Okay, all right, but say this again. And when you go to thekimmershow.net, there is an email doohickey there on the thing?
Yeah, you can,
they can send us a message right now.
At the very top, it says contact.
I didn't know
They can even call and leave a voice message. Does anybody do that? Did you check that?
We've gotten a couple, but again, we haven't been plugging it a lot. So again.
Oh, my God.
What's the number?
It's 470 552-0030.
What's a series of digits?
And again, I'll do a better job. What I'll do is, a couple times a week, and you remember too, write the number down and just do a post. Yeah. Hey, give us a call. We'll leave a message.
Can't they get
and we
it
can
from
play.
the page?
Yeah.
Doesn't the page?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, it'll also help now
because
there's going to be a lot of people on Facebook. We just do a post with the link.
Okay, great. Okay, well, we'll move on.
One day you'll go on Facebook and we won't be there. Yeah. It'll be because they killed us.
God, they can bite me.
I know.
All right. Anyway, again, thekimmershow.net, and we'll take care of do things best we can, make it easy for you, including our friends who make it easy for you. If you would like to look for something maybe you can't find somewhere else, how about M&S Title Pawn, the segment of the Kimmer Goofy Show podcast, now brought to you by our friends at M&S Title Pawn. I say it like that because it sounds like M&S. And it's spelled Mans, and I'll get to that in a second. But the company is called M&S Title Pawn in beautiful Bremen, Georgia, right there at 306, or is it 306? Yeah, 306 Laurel Street, Suite A. They're open Monday through Saturday, Laurel Street in Bremen. You can go there in person, obviously, or you can check them on the web. And again, here's where it's the M&S is all put together, so it sounds like and writes like manstitle.com. M-A-N-D-S title.com. See, M&S is manstitle.com. They have a phone number. They love to talk to you on the phone. 678-821-3337. Again, that's M&S Title Pawn in Bremen. By the way, we're getting a lot of comments about you walking around in your little shorts.
Where's the sign go?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I gave it, Mike, the engineer, put 2 holes in it, so I'm going to be able to put it
cool.
behind you. So it'll actually,
cool.
So it'll work perfect right there.
Outstanding. Anyway, that's a scoop. All right, so we're happy about Westminster. Let's see. Oh, did you see? Again, we got some newsy stuff we'll talk about here in a second.
People have tuned in to hear about the abortion. That's what they want you to hear about. Your opinion.
And in fact, I haven't even heard anybody say the vote was 6-3.
Was it?
I think. Let's see.
That's what I'm looking for.
No one mentioned. They said the majority but no one has. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say 6. I know the 2 liberal girls, including the dumb one, voted against it, I'm not sure which one of the guys.
To her credit, she came out the other day and praised Justice Thomas, which none of them do.
True.
So
true.
to her credit,
that's got nothing to do with that.
Right.
She's a bad judge, but
right.
Anyway, so I believe it was 6-3, and of course the liberals are going nuts, and. But ironically, no one's mentioning that at all. Clearly, the only defense of having it there in the first place was the so-called violation of the right to privacy of a woman's privacy of her own body. The problem is there is no right to privacy in the Constitution. The word I don't believe the word privacy is in the Constitution, but that's how they were trying to say, your right to. Life, liberty, and so forth is your right to your own private life. So anyway, that was what, I'm no lawyer, obviously, as you can tell, but that was the link, and that's what the president for JJ was saying. Did you hear his speech? Oh, God. We'll talk about him in a minute, too, by the way, about he's like a freaking 3-year-old in nursery school, I swear to God. So I mentioned this morning, I was on Friday mornings, I'm on 106.3 at 7:30 in the morning, and I said, I remember my mother, I swear to God, I remember my mother pinning a note on my coat that said Kim Peterson, room 3C, or whatever, I mean, come on. And so my little winter boots or whatever, so you wouldn't get lost.
I can't put my arms down.
The mittens on a string through the coat. I mean, if you grew up in the north, I mean, come on. Anyway, we'll get to all this.
I can't get up.
Yeah, but clearly, it never should have been in there in the first place. And again, everybody's getting all hysterical. It doesn't mean you cannot get an abortion. You can still get an abortion, but it's up to the states. And again, this is the way our country was founded. We didn't want more rights for the government. The liberals, the Democrats, all want more rights. They want the government to have more say over your body. They want the government to have more say over whether a doctor can do certain things, not less. I mean, that's the exact opposite of why this nation was founded, to get the government off our freaking back and give it to the states. If the states want to do something, we can't say no.
Change the law if you don't like it.
Yeah, or amend the Constitution. And by the way, they're all in charge. The Democrats are all in charge.
Yeah. Well, they'd rather go form a mob and go pull down the statue than go through the time and effort to change the law to have it taken away.
Yeah, I mean,
I want it now. They're kindergarten.
You're freaking killing me. And so legally, I don't know about the thing. And the only, okay, you can still get an abortion. And as far as I know, you can still get the after pill, the after sex, the day after pill. And so they want to make sure that, which is fine with me, if they want to. Well, again, the Democrats want to try to pass a federal law that means that a state cannot stop you from getting the morning after pill. Well, again, the government again is going to try to make sure that the pharmacy has to sell you that pill. Again, stepping into more power for the government to tell the business that they have to do. You know what I mean? It's exactly backwards of what America is supposed to stand for. So that's why the whole thing bothers me. And they're not going to be done by a long shot. And we haven't even talked. We'll talk about the gun overturning and also the gun law that was passed too. That'll come up here in a second too. But I mean. It's up to the states, and if you don't want to live in the state that has that law, it's like now. I wouldn't want to move. If they offered me a job in California, I wouldn't move.
Not to California.
Would you move to California?
No, I would have at one point, but not now.
I mean, yeah, I lived there at one point, and so did you.
I loved it.
It was wonderful. So anyway, I mean, but you have your choice, and you can still get an abortion. I don't know.
Look, and Crimea River, if you have to drive to another state to get it,
baby.
At least you're going to kill something. So at least put as much effort in killing it as you did in making it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, last time we talked about this, it just seems to me, like you say, Crimea River, it should be difficult. It shouldn't be as easy as, hey, Doc, come over to my house. You want house calls next, and by the way, what bothers most people, what bothers any decent thinking person is those who are demanding abortion on demand and up to birth.
Yeah. To birth.
I mean, how could anybody support that? I mean, they're nuts. And when I saw them on TV and they're all screaming and yelling and doing bloody things and stuff, and I'm going, you freaking maniacs! You're monsters. How could anybody? I remember the governor of Virginia, and he sat there with a doctor and said, well, we make sure the fetus when it's born is comfortable while they decide whether to keep it alive. I wanted to cry. Honestly, I never heard such a thing in my life. And they're monsters. They're monsters.
If you did that to an elderly person, we don't want to spend any more money on this person now. Put them over there and keep them comfortable until we decide if we're going to kill them or not. You'd be up on murder charges.
Well, Kevorkian. Anyway, and even despite the loss, anyway, it's just the whole thing. And I'm not
Kevorkian, though. It was your choice.
Yeah, right, exactly. He wasn't killing
your
you.
Baby doesn't have a choice.
Nobody made him do that to you. Yeah, but with federal tax dollars, no less, too. Anyway, but again, it's just even if and if you're saying, well, what about the exceptions for rape and incest? Well, again, the baby didn't do it, or the fetus.
Still, that's less than 1%.
But again, it's true. But again, if you believe that there is a reason for abortion, then you believe that abortion is permittable under certain circumstances.
That's
Okay,
what I think.
the only way to look, I've always thought the only way to look at that, and again, I'm a guy, what do I know? The only way to look at that is that you have to therefore believe that it's some kind of justifiable homicide. If you have to believe if you believe there's some kind of life that it becomes life, then it's a justifiable manslaughter, or that it's a justifiable.
Yeah,
and if you can justify it, that's the only way I would think that you could probably do it.
My problem is making a woman against her will have the kid when she didn't.
I agree.
Didn't willingly enter into the coitus.
I agree. You should not force a woman to have a baby that she doesn't want.
But then they'll say, well, then you shouldn't force anyone.
I know. I don't have an answer.
It's all about convenience.
I know.
They're just doing it for convenience. It's
well,
not
that's
about the health of the mother.
Yeah,
it's not about. That's all bullshit.
Yeah.
This is because that's less than 1% to 2%.
Right.
This is mainly about convenience.
Right, but I don't think there could ever be a law. The problem is there could never be a law that you would have to prove that it wasn't just a matter of convenience, and that's why you want it.
There is.
Well, but
in some places,
not working.
if it's rape or incest,
yeah,
they
but
can.
still, I mean, you'd have to strap them down to a lie detector because
Well, if there's part of a crime, then you already know.
Listen, I don't. I agree. I hate the whole idea. You can't talk about it.
I know.
I mean, I don't want to.
But this is going to tear the country apart, which is why we need to talk about it.
Well, before we went on the air, Pete's one main concern was that this is now, we gave them the freaking election topic for all the white suburban liberals who hated Donald Trump anyway, or who are now going to be fomenting at the mouth with all their friends to say, oh my God, they took away our right to, not get knocked up. And that'll drive them to the polls. And between that and the guns, and we'll talk about guns in a minute here too, they have two major issues. Yeah. So, I mean, again, we're, 2 months away? I mean,
November.
Yeah, that's right. So 3 or 4 months. All right. Well, it's July next week. It's July.
If we'd have had this election 6 months ago, it'd have been an easy peasy. But now,
yeah. Now maybe in 4 months it'll be different. But here's again, the two major issues all of a sudden.
If there's law and order. If these nutbags start burning down these clinics that help with women and stuff like that, if they go violent, and for once again the governments all stand aside and tell the police to stand down, and the Democratic mayors don't enforce the law, then we're gonna have the same repeat that we had after the riots.
Well, in fact, I'm going to talk about a couple of the. In fact, most of the Antifa rioters from 2020 have had their charges dismissed, compared to the Ashley Babbitt, mostly peaceful January 6th protest, where they went solitary confinement for 2 freaking years. So anyway, we'll get to that in a second too. I can see. God, was it the idiot governor of New York has also been an idiot governor of New York about the guns. And I think, some of the comments and the reactions from the Democratic leaders about overturning Roe versus Wade are hysterical. I mean, I don't know. I hate the whole idea.
But they got to hold them accountable to Schumers, who basically have threatened Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, well, but he's getting away with it. They didn't do anything to him because he's a liberal. All right, hold on a second. I want to get to Biden here in a second. Let me talk about President Stupid. First, Vice President side piece. They showed video. And there was a big press release from her staff saying that she was at this big meeting of Democrats and women and so forth and athletes in the Title IX 50-year anniversary, whatever it was, and they showed her sinking a basket and it said nothing but net. Yeah, she missed 6 of them from a foot. And then Fox showed it last night. She missed 6 of them from under the bat, and finally one guy said, okay, ma'am, bend your knees and aim at the box. He said, aim at that square box above the rim. And so she did, and then it finally bounced in. But she missed like 6 or 7 of them by a mile. It didn't even clank. And,
You'd think a woman of experience of hers would know how to handle a ball.
You would think getting it in the hole. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's surprised she couldn't dunk the son of a bitch.
First time you ever touched a ball?
And did you see? I saw a small clip of Messi's Jussie Smollett, the fake victim of the lynching by Trump MAGA hat people in Chicago at 2 o'clock in the morning. He was on a video podcast, and he is still saying that he's innocent. and he's saying, I can't imagine the kind of person who would do. And I'm thinking, oh my God! And they had, even somebody had a psychologist on saying, that, this guy really needs help. I mean, they don't think he's acting; they think he's really in another freaking world.
He's an actor.
I mean, oh my God, pretty freaking weird. A kudo to Tucker Carlson.
By the way,
yes.
Jesse Smollett, once again, brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets, closetpro.net, 404-255-0589. That's Atlanta Custom Closets, where Jesse is no longer in, closetpro.net.
And as I'm speaking of people who are idiots, Tucker Carlson the last few nights has been doing some of the most fabulous satire. He's doing a lot of satire, mocking the issues of the day, including how people are, how liberal black women in particular are trying to support Carmela's side piece, including Joy Reid, maybe the dumbest person on television, and he plays clips of her hanging herself with her own words, where she's saying things like, when you see Carmela, you think sister, we're all together with a sisterhood, and you're thinking the way you're brought up from your bootstraps, and you're fighting the white devil and the white supremacy. It just reminds us that the white man can't control everything. And she, making clips like that. Joy Reid saying this kind of shit about Carmela, and then Tucker says, let's remember, Joy Reid grew up in a suburb of Denver and went to Harvard. So she hardly, represents, Skid Row or, the inner city anymore, the man in the moon. He's just been showing clips of them to show what freaking idiots they are. God, what was he did one thing last? Oh, I got it here. He made it was such a funny comment the other night. I got to find it here. It's right here. Oh, where are you? Oh, don't tell me I can't find it.
So close. So close to a perfect show.
No. Oh, here it is. He was talking about Carmela and the fact that, of course, nobody wants her to be the new lead guy, but he was talking about the President Potato Head's support. And he said, he came up with a great line, and I will try to quote it for you. He said, Biden supporters, the only group are white, college-educated, urban people, such as particularly middle-aged women with unhappy personal lives. If you have more than 3 cats, carry an NPR tote bag, and wear a mask alone in your car, you're a Biden supporter. Yeah. And he nailed it. Yeah. And those are the people who are going to be voting again with the abortion and the gun business, too.
They're screwing up the country is what they are.
But, particularly middle-aged women with unhappy personal lives. If you have more than 3 cats, carry an NPR tote bag, wear a mask alone in the car. And I still see those people, too, by the way. Anyway, I thought, but he's been nailing it with his stuff last night. Also, Jesse Waters, I try to not miss him because he's been on his kind of vendettas, including Nancy Pelosi's husband Paul, who wrecked his Porsche into a guy in a Jeep and hurt somebody, and they were trying to hide the information. He was never charged until Jesse Waters on his show started having the place. He gave the phone numbers for all the people involved, the attorney general and the sheriff. I mean, they must have had hundreds of thousands. They finally, people were calling and said, they just hung up on me. Anyway, so finally they charged him with a DUI with an injury or property damage or something, but it was still a misdemeanor. But it turns out they're not. They still didn't release. They're not releasing any video. They're not releasing the sheriff's video. They're not releasing interviews with witnesses. And apparently, the New York Times, however, found out that there was a witness. So last night, Jesse Waters was saying there was a witness at 2:00 in the morning. Where was the witness? Somebody in his car? Oh, was there maybe somebody in his car from the party that when his wife was out of town that he or she was a witness? Was it a woman? Maybe could have been maybe something. And he starts doing all this questioning stuff. And again, what do you mean there was a witness? Well, let's see the witness statement. And why was there? Were they having? Was she slapping him in the face? Was she giving him a hink? Was there something going on? I mean, whatever. If there was somebody in there, but again, they're still hiding information.
It was a Porsche, of course, he was getting a Hummer.
And they're hiding information and keeping it a secret. And by the way, this is what killed me about it. In fact, somebody's calling it Napa-quitic. Napa Valley. That's clever.
Nobody died.
That's funny. But somebody got hurt, and they're not saying who.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's the guy in the Jeep that he hit or if somebody in his car. I mean, again,
Is that normal not to give out this information?
No, it's not.
Then how are they getting away with it?
If it's on a police, well, because they're playing dodgeball. Jesse Waters now has his lawyers. They have subpoenaed and give him like 24 hours, whatever, to answer. The district attorney says, well, it's up to the state police to release the video and so forth. State police says, no, it's up to the local DA. Local DA says it's up to the county. So I mean, they're just giving round and round and say, I don't have the video. I can't release. I don't have it to release. And somebody, I think Jesse Waters or his lawyer talked to one of the sheriffs, and Jesse said, or do you know whether there was a witness in the car? And the sheriff said, yes, I do. And Jesse said, well, and he said, I can't tell you. So I mean, it's unbelievable. But again, this should never have gone like this anyway. But good for him that he's going to get nailed.
Hopefully, anonymous or some hacking group. Well, because they got to be some of the easiest hacks in the world, California state.
You would think.
Just go in there and get the video.
Someone's going to get it. In fact, he asked a hacker to give him.
TMZ pay somebody.
Yeah, I guarantee you somebody will. But here's what he said last night, which I found out, which was amazing to me about Napa-quitic. Paul Pelosi, Nancy's husband, again, they have $100 million from Chinese investments. Paul Pelosi, when he was a teenager, was driving in his car with his brother in the car, got in a wreck, and killed his brother. Yeah. Wow. Now, if I had killed my own brother in a car wreck, don't you think I'd be a little more careful driving a car
the rest of your life?
The rest of my freaking life?
And if you're that rich, why are you, outside of having a little fun or something, sober, why are you driving a car?
Well, he's driving a Porsche because he wants to have a fun car. So, I mean, I can see that.
But again, to do that, not after a party when you've been drinking.
Well, again, the fact that you killed your brother in a car wreck, and you would be in any way taking a chance on not being in your full fact. I mean, it just. That just to me, it was a long time. What is he, 80?
Well, but
but still,
if you're drunk, you're not thinking so.
Right. Well, it was 0.082 or something, which is just barely over the limit. But again, but still, he's over the limit. There's a limit for a reason. So, and he was over the limit. So they charged him finally with DUI with property damage or injury or something. But again, when you kill your freaking brother, and you're still being a goof. That's not good. I got a funny. I hope it's a funny meme message.
The last one was all right.
My daughter sent along. Also, I got a message from AT&T, which makes me livid about all the money I'm paying those people. And also the note cards for our juvenile president coming up. At first, if you're looking for a different ride, a Kimmer sponsor, again, go to thekimmershow.net if you want to get on board as a sponsor like Swap My Whip. Swap My Whip. Whip, of course, is a colloquial expression for car or a ride. You're right. Give me a new whip, a new ride. Swap My Whip. If you want to trade your car, for example, swapmywhip.com. Find like-minded owners when you don't want to deal with dealerships or used car salesmen. At swapmywhip.com, you get a better deal by avoiding the middleman entirely. If you want to trade your car, your boat, are you mugging for the camera? Your car, your boat, your jet ski, for example, swapmywhip.com. And right now, we suggest using the code KIMMER, KIMMER, for 180 days of free premium listings on swapmywhip.com. That's swapmywhip.com.
I was reading the Scooter has written in saying his son Lucas is still waiting for his pony.
on the radio many years ago, and I used to always do this. If a kid calls in, I almost always try to make fun of somebody. So Lucas called in, and he was like 6, I don't know, and she called in, and this old man was trying to mess, and he said, "Hi, the Kimmer," he was kidding around, and he was really nice. He was really cool and funny, and clever, and a really adult sounding kid. It was really cool. And then I said, by the way, I guess it was his birthday coming up, and I said, by the way, I don't know whether I'm supposed to tell you this, but your dad's getting you a pony for your birthday. Oh boy! Well, his daddy was not getting him a pony for his birthday until then, anyway. And but I almost always do that. I remember one time. Oh God, that's why we don't do live stuff or didn't do live stuff for a while. I was doing a live remote from a pool somewhere. God, I have the vaguest. I don't remember this from Adams. Pool? I swear, God, it was at a pool, or a recreation area. Maybe it might have been the Greek festival. I don't think. I think it was a pool. Anyway, I was doing a live thing, and there were all kinds of kids around and stuff. And so I was doing a little Art Linkletter, and if you know who that is. And so kids are coming up. I'm interviewing this kid. Say, what do you want? What do you want to grow up? And what do you want for Christmas? When your birthday? So like then, and this one kid, he's probably 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever. And I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he said, I want to be a professional basketball player. I said, what a great idea. I said, you should quit school right now because there are clinics that will take kids to do nothing but play basketball. I mean, honestly, you should tell your parents right now that stuff like that. And that didn't go over too well with their parents at the
they asked you to leave.
Once again, we didn't do too many live remote. Remember, were you there when we did a couple of the Braves up on back where of the center field?
No.
And we did just a couple.
Turner Field?
Yeah. And it was not. I think that was before Flounder, way before Flounder.
We did it kind of in shifts. We did. Yeah, I remember that. Out in center field.
Yeah. And the only problem with doing remotes is people are, and so I just started, I started messing with the crowd, and it's just, it's a nightmare. But anyway, so that was
Was it Tanner's?
Tanner, that was after the golf tournament. Got hammered on the hammered.
Poor Matt Stewart.
Tanner's ticking real tickery. Oh my God. Mercy.
Y'all want to real quick? Do you want to hear what Maxine Waters had to say?
Oh, please.
Sure. She's literally inciting an erection.
By the way, her district is now over 50% Hispanic. And there's a Hispanic man running against her.
Please, God.
Here we go.
You see this turnout here? You ain't seen nothing yet. Women are going to control their bodies no matter how they try and stop us. The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them. Women will be in control of their bodies.
You already are. Don't spread your legs or make him wear a condom.
Right.
Simple.
Or do it the good way. Whatever. There are a lot of it. Well, I'm just saying. It's up to you. I'm just saying. Just some kind of possibilities. You stop to think about it. That's just off the top of my head.
In this day and age, I can see back in the 60s, 70s, 50s, but in this day and age, where you walk down to the corner and get birth control, and it's cheap, and hell, a lot of the time the government pays for it. There's no excuse.
Yeah, well.
And make the sumbitch wear a condom or have him snipped or whatever.
Well, I don't think I like the idea of that. I mean, snipping is good. I had snipped back in 1973. But now see, why wouldn't
back
you
then they did it with garden shears because I'm not going to have somebody take scissors to my balls.
Oh,
how about that,
Mr. Special?
How about that?
So,
That's right.
So you could control the fact that you
aren't
going to have.
I've never knocked up a woman, as far as I know.
Well, you don't know.
Because I've been responsible, even when I was drunk.
You have no idea if you've knocked up a woman.
I have a good damn idea.
You have no idea. You could have
good
little sailors running around right now.
Unless one day I get a knock on the door and not so little Ernesto.
You could have a
couple
be there
going, oh, senor.
A little brunette. Yeah, you have no freaking idea.
Padre.
Oh, you selfish bastard. You should. I mean, men. If you don't want kids, get them clipped.
At this point, I'm not. I mean, come on.
Well, but all right. Well, that's true. That's silly now. But again, but you said you would never do. You didn't believe in vasectomies.
Well, no. If someone else wanted to do it, that's fine. But I'm not having anyone touch me.
Well, that's fairly selfish. I'm sorry.
How is that selfish?
Because
God didn't give you balls that fell off when you turned 30. I mean, come on. but you went to a doctor and had it done.
Let's see. I was 70 when Sarah was born. 75. Yeah, I was like 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Yeah, I was 30. Yeah, I was 30. I guess I was 30.
Think of all the little Petersons that you could have brought into the world.
56, 66.
That's not that important.
76, but I wasn't 70. So I wasn't even 30. I was like 26, 27. And in fact, I was the first one that I knew in my entire neighborhood or community that had a vasectomy. And people were shocked and said, "Oh my God, you did it! Oh, was it awful? Oh my, what was because it was so new, and no one had heard this. This was like 1972 or 3, and so I was happy to talk about it because it's
okay.
Yeah.
So you're upset because you're having to deal with your teeth at your age. You're upset because you had to get a hearing aid at your age, but you had no problem in your prime to have your ball snipped off.
I didn't
like a banty rooster.
Well, I will tell you, I tried to be a good husband right up till the end there, and a good father. That's a little. I'm sorry. It's good. No, my wife, my starter wife, my favorite ex-wife was the salt of the earth. No one's ever said a bad word about her. I swear. I mean, again, and I'm an idiot. Anyway. I have no idea. Oh, so she now. Well, when she okay. For various reasons, she had to be on. She was on the birth control pill for a long time.
Right.
So, and this was again back in the early 70s when all of a sudden the studies started coming out saying, the birth control pill can give you some problems, ladies, so be careful what you do. There were various levels of the hormones. I mean, this was a lot of stuff going on in the 70s about birth control and pregnancies and morning after pill, all this kind of stuff. So my choice was, we had our second daughter, and I knew I didn't want another child, and she said she didn't want another child, so it was a hell of a lot easier for me to get a vasectomy so she could come off the pill.
Right.
Which also meant that she better not fool around on me because then but I mean I did it for her as well as me, and I wasn't looking for. I was scared. I mean I didn't know, and it was not pleasant. I mean it was you could.
What kills me is that you bitch about your teeth and your hearing now, but back then you marched right in there and said, "Take my balls."
No,
off.
I wasn't. I was going okay, all right, I'll do it. But when we brought the needle out to my aha, whoa, wow. Yeah, and of course the nurse being there, that was not going, geez, God, helping with a cord. Oh, God. Anyway, so that's all done. God, I was just going to say something about it, and I can't remember what the hell it was.
Kimmer can't remember about his balls being dropped. Brought to you by FarmhousePrintingCo.com, and aren't they proud? They print all kinds of shirts and hats and signs, custom right for you, promotional items, no minimum order. That means 1 or 1,000, it doesn't matter. No setup fees, and now with laser engraving, they'll laser engrave anything you put in there. It's wonderful. But the T-shirts we love the T-shirts. The Kimmer Show T-shirts, Holy Crap and Sports T-shirts.
And guess what? I talked to Eric yesterday.
Yeah?
What's today? Friday. I think it was yesterday. Or I texted him, and I sent him a picture of something I'd taken on my phone, and it was really a good-looking picture. It came out very clear, very nice. I sent it to him, and I said, Eric, can you put this on a T-shirt for me in a medium? And I, and he wrote back and said, sure. Do you want it on white or gray or whatever? And I said, it's true. I said, honestly, I hadn't thought about anything but white, but I said, you've done so many of these in your life. Maybe gray. I said, I'll leave it up to you. Whatever you think this goes better with. So again, I let him choose because he's been doing it. He does this for a living. Anyway, and he said, okay, fine. He's going to take care of it. Boom, bam. Off we go. And it's one. I ordered one, not 100. One.
I tell you what, to me, the Kimmer Show logo, the Statue of Liberty head, actually looks better on the gray. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think it does too. Anyway, FarmhousePrintingCo.com. Flounder. There we go. Okay. I love it. Let's see. Oh, okay. I kind of couldn't wait to talk about this. Did you see? I know you did. President Judge Wapner's on in 1 minute with his note cards. Oh my God. Okay, if you have to Google it if you haven't seen it, and I guess I'll bet the only people who played it was Fox or social media. social media. But again, if the mainstream media would simply cover the news, this is news. This is significant news about the most powerful man in the world. I mean, how can you say that?
Being led around
like a puppy. He had no, and by the way, how could he mistakenly show them to the camera? I mean, what an idiot. He doesn't know where he is or what he's doing. He's flipping things around. And of course, they got the picture. And if you haven't seen him, every time somebody printed up a note card with lines of what he's supposed to do, line by line, step by step, for his appearance at this meeting with the AFL-CIO was the first one to question. The first letter, or the first word of each line was "you," and it was in caps, all capital letters, so he wouldn't miss it, ladies and gentlemen. The first one, this was his first order on the note card. You enter the Roosevelt Room and say hello. Okay, they actually had to tell him to say hello. If you were the president of the United States and you walk into the Roosevelt Room, you know they're all going to be standing and clapping or coming or whatever. And what, you have to be reminded to talk to the people to say hello? Oh my God. They're telling him to say hello to the people. You know, those talking people there with like the humans? Oh my God. And then it says, you, in all caps, you take your seat. You take your seat, not somebody else's. You take the one with, like your name on it. Then the press enters. You give brief comments. Next, you, in all caps, ask Liz Schiller questions. She's the president of the AFL-CIO. So he is asked. He was told one question. He was told to ask Liz Schiller a question, and then the next one is thank participants. And the one after that, you depart. Oh my God. How could a person not be able to get that in his head? That you're going to a meeting and then you talk to some people, you get to ask a couple of questions, and then you leave. I mean, how could you not know that?
Here's the question. Has Colbert or Kimmel or any of this done what they would have done to
Saturday
Trump?
Night Live?
This would have been skit after skit after
Oh my
monologue
God.
after monologue if this was Trump holding this.
And let's think about it this way. That's the mainstream media. If you get, the mainstream comedians and the Tonight Show and the Letterman type show, those have been around for so long that they're the mainstream nighttime leftist comedian guys. But if you look at not only the mainstream media covering this as news, because it's news. I mean, that's a huge news story. If you look at how nasty and vicious MSNBC and CNN are, if they were to use that same attitude, if that's what they believe in, they should be nasty for their advocacy. If they were to do it toward the truth of what's right in front of them, everything would be changed.
Just do what's funny.
Do what's real. I mean, it's right there. It's unbelievable. And by the way, Tucker last night had Dr. Solon, I can't remember his name with the glasses, good guy. And Tucker made the point, and the doctor did too, people should be demanding that Biden take a cognitive test. As part of a physical. He should have taken one as part of a routine physical, and maybe he did and they kept it secret. I don't know. But if he didn't, they should have.
Then what's the use of doing that?
Right, exactly.
If they know it's something wrong and they don't tell anybody.
Right, exactly.
Well, we got to hide this. Well, then why have the test?
You're not allowed to hide medical information on the President of the United States. The physicals are made public. His blood pressure, whether he's got social diseases. I mean, I think they release all that stuff.
Do they?
I think they do. And Tucker Carlson, the doctor, made the point. We need to get him to force him to take a cognitive test, or for people to demand it until he finally addresses the issue. And we need to see what medications he's on, because people with mental problems are frequently either doped up or kept on something to keep them mildly sedated. I mean, we need to know what he's taking.
We won't until if he decides to run again, he'll have to
never run again.
But if he decides to, he'll have to release that information.
Yeah, but that'll never happen. But again, what's he taking for pills? And can anybody now really believe when you have to say, take your seat, you take your and then leave, say hello, walk in and oh my God.
The other thing is with today's technology, why don't they just put an earpiece in his damn ear?
Well, remember that was one of the didn't they accuse him of that during the debate?
During the debates, yeah, because it came out like there was something that was
wire there or
by
something.
his wire by his coat.
Yeah,
Jose Altuve wire.
Yeah, I'll bet that was freaking true all the way too. One more thing about the President Potato Head. Again, when you think about the people, hundreds kept in solitary confinement or in jail for a very long time for walking in the Capitol. Again, the guy with the buffalo head got sentenced to jail. Serving jail time after being held in solitary, and he was never convicted of any physical violence. He didn't hit anybody, hurt anybody, but he was a leader of going through the Capitol trespassing or whatever, and he actually got a jail term. The people who have been storming the Capitol, following the senator into the girls' restroom and stuff. This goes on and on. They destroyed more property during the last 2 summers, federal property, burning down a federal building. Nobody even got charged for that, for God's sakes. Because the liberals kept going. And now we find out, last night the story came out, that the Justice Department under President Potato Head has dropped almost all the charges against all those Antifa people who were in charge of rioting and assaults all the last 2 years. Example. I don't even get their names, but most of them had, face tattoos and purple hair and stuff like that. This is like 80 charges just dropped by the Justice Department. Federal charges. The kid who threw, not a kid, he's a man, a 20-something-year-old who threw a rock at federal officer's head in Portland. The guy who stabbed a cop with a sharp tip of his umbrella, violently hurting him. Charges dropped, quote, in the interest of justice. The guy who smashed a federal officer in the face with his boot, dropped. The guy who beat and assaulted a federal officer, dismissed. Another guy who calls himself a career anarchist assaulted a federal officer. The federal charges dropped in the interest of justice.
How is that in the interest of social justice,
right,
but not justice?
Right. Not only did they not go to solitary confinement for 2 years, they got away with it. Again, I think of all the torched warehouses and the car lots and the...
2 people died in the Seattle Autonomous Zone.
And again, they took over Seattle and Portland, for God's sakes.
I love the photo they showed now in Washington, D.C. that night it burned. And it looks like the whole city is burning.
Yeah.
None of those people went away.
It's unfreaking believable. And compare that to Ashley Babbitt Mostly Peaceful Protest Day. It's just...
The Confederacy didn't even do that to D.C. when they won the first Battle of Bull Run. They didn't go in there and torch the city like these guys did.
And again, I can only imagine, again, this is the Friday of the Supreme Court decision on the Roe versus Wade, so we can only imagine through today and the weekend what the protests are going to be like. And, and you can't trust these people with anything but violent. They're going to be violent as hell.
The question is, how will they respond this time? And if they do the same thing because guess what? It worked last time.
Yeah.
They ignored it, they let them riot, and they won the election.
Yeah, I know. Well, all we can do is vote. Again, you have to blame Georgia Republicans who failed to show up to elect 2 senators. We had the chance to, anyway, for generations and blew it.
But that was bad. But in a good sense, the Democrats have been nothing but in charge for 2 years now, and they've cocked it up.
Yeah.
They can't blame the Republicans because they're the ones in charge.
And again, they had nothing to run on, no accomplishments to run on, and now they've got 2 court cases: the guns and the abortion. I want to do something more clever than that before we do something else.
We're going to do something clever before we start going back to the non-clever stuff.
Before we start doing that,
just to warn you.
There
will be an uptick in professionalism for a few minutes.
This is the part. And by the way, last night I bit my tongue bad.
Why did you do that?
Well, you know why? Because I'm chewing on half the side of my mouth, and I just bit, and it's a bad one where I cut it, and it hurts to talk.
I'd say it was almost a year ago I did that, and I just had a bubble Like a round
Yeah,
bubble
it's
for like
cut
3
and
months.
Get Orajel and just numb it.
Well, I mean, it hurts to do anything, and and I'm trying to talk around it, but it's not a happy thing. My daughter Jennifer, I don't know whether she's watching today or listening on watching on Facebook, whatever. Well, sometimes she's busy working stuff. And this came from a guy named Hank, and it says my airline flight, was being served by an obviously gay flight attendant who seemed to put everyone in a good mood as he served us food and drinks. As the plane prepared to descend, he came swishing down the aisle and told us that Captain Marvey has asked me to announce that we'll be landing the big scary plane shortly. So, lovely people, if you could just put your trays up, that would be super. On his trip back up the aisle, he noticed this rather well-dressed and Arabic-looking woman hadn't moved a simple muscle. He said, well, perhaps you didn't hear me over those big brood engines, but I asked you to please raise your tracy poo so the main man can pity-pat us on the ground. She turned calmly her head and said, in my country, I am called a princess, and I take orders from no one. To which I swear the flight attendant replied without missing a beat, well, sweet cheeks, in my country, I'm called a queen, so I outrank you. Tray up, bitch. And that's probably an old joke, but I saw it and I thought I'd pass it on.
That non-PC joke brought to you by...
Well, if we can't be at least partly non-PC on a podcast, then we're screwed. And one more, this was fairly amusing, to show kids have a sense of humor, and I don't remember who this came from. Somebody posted it. Anthony Neal, I think, might have done it. And it's a picture of 4 chunks of hamburger inside sealed plastic bags. So it's kind of when you take like a pound of hamburger and put it in a plastic bag to freeze it, you put a note on it of when you did it or whatever. Well,
always write Steve. Or
well, this guy wrote a thing. This guy said, I asked my kid to vacuum and seal and label the hamburger. This is what I got. The first one, 519, neighbor's cat found dead. The next one, 519, possum from backyard. The next one, 519, free-range skunk. And my favorite, Carol Baskin's husband, which I thought was fairly amusing. Anyway, I just thought I would. One more quick thing I got on my where if I got that on my phone. Come on, go back to the phone page. Here we go. I got a message from. No, I got a message from. Oh, here it is. Yes, sir. As you know, I have Comcast for my high-speed internet and TV, and I have AT&T phone service, and I have an AT&T email as well as a Comcast email. And I got a message that says, AT&T free message. You used 75% of your high-speed data for this bill period. If you use it all, your data speed will be lower until July 8th. Flying through your high-speed data? Try using Wi-Fi. Get more usage at att.com. Manage usage or compare. I do Wi-Fi at my house.
So
maybe when you're here.
It's not hooked onto it. Yeah, when you get back home.
No, I'm hooked on at home, and here it's hooked on. The Wi-Fi is those the round things up top.
Here you automatically switch, and when you go home, it should automatically switch over.
It is.
Sometimes it doesn't do it. You better check. Because sometimes I'll get home and it's giving me weird stuff, and I have to go on settings and ask for the Wi-Fi to connect again.
But the only reason that I would be using the high-speed data, that's not if I take videos at the barn, is it?
No, I think
that's only if I look up stuff on the internet, right?
I think it's not connecting back with your Wi-Fi. Sometimes you better every time you come home just check it.
Because I do very little searching the internet when I'm not at home.
Or your what do you call it? The cable's not connecting as it should. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was what?
You have cable.
Yeah.
Right? So it's your internet stuff. Yeah, you check it. Sometimes it's probably not clicking over.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of bizarre. Just for the record.
When it switches from one Wi-Fi system to another, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. All right, hold on. Let's see. We got so many things. Okay, the gun bill. Well, actually, 2 things. The Supreme Court ruled on the right to carry guns in public based on a New York case New York had one of the strictest gun control laws. If you wanted a carry permit, you had to show a really good reason why you needed one. If you were a diamond merchant or something, and worked only at midnight in the subway or whatever. So I mean, they made it almost impossible unless you were a big time celebrity. You could get a carry permit, but basically no one could get a carry permit in New York. And so somebody sued and said that's all right, and they won. I mean, and now the justices. Only said that bill, New York bill, and those like it went too far. In fact, I was going to do something else first on that. And about a quarter of the population lives in states that will be affected by the ruling. It was a 6-3 ruling. That you have a right to carry a firearm in public for self-defense. Now, they've already, this is pretty funny. I've got this on my phone, on social media, on Twitter, started really mocking the governor of New York, Governor Schlockel, what's her freaking name? Hochul.
Weird immigrant name.
She started bitching and she said, "This is setting us backwards." One part of her Hochul speech, the governor stated, "I'm sorry this dark day has come, that we're supposed to go back to what was in place in 1788 when the Constitution of the United States of America was ratified. I would like to point out to the Supreme Court justices that the only weapons at the time were muskets. I'm prepared to go back to muskets." So thank you for saying that. Social media went nuts. For example, one host said, and the only politicians at that time were men. Your point? Another, if Kathy Hochul's security detail doesn't set an example by switching to only using muskets first, then she can fuck off, said columnist Tim Young. Stephen Miller, the former Trump advisor, said, will the criminals rampaging freely across New York be going back to muskets as well? Another question, also out of curiosity, what medium is Hochul using to broadcast this message, and did it exist in the 18th century? Another conservative said, gee, New York Governor Kathy threatens that she's prepared to go back to muskets as she appears determined to violate the Second Amendment. And hi, remember you were in Congress and proudly touted your A rating from the NRA? Good times there, good times. A Blaze reporter, gee, Kathy, sorry the Constitution happened to you. And one conservative columnist rebuked her column, accusing her of wanting to leave Americans victimized. It's outrageous you would want sexual assault survivors like myself to prove we have a need for a concealed carry permit, even though our past is proof enough. I know what that's like because I live in your buddy Gavin Newsom state at the time. And then someone, how about start with the civilians, with the criminals, not the civilians? If you wanted to start turn the gun thing. Anyway, just amazing.
This is a state that just yesterday in New York City, 2 women assaulted New York police officers and they let them both go.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, remember the women who threw the firebomb during the riots? Two lawyers.
They're attacking law-abiding citizens and they're letting the criminals run rampant. This is all George Soros and the DAs that he's gotten elected with his money.
And in fact, even in Philadelphia, the Democrats are turning on the guy who's finally, he had to explain himself, and he said, well, he had no criminal past. And of course, they're just, speaking out of their butts.
They've been instructed to let these criminals back on the street because they want to sow discord.
Well, I don't know who gave them the idea that they're trying to be better people by being more lenient with the poor victims of a cruel society that turns them. I mean, that's the kind of shit you used to hear from, in hippies and beatniks, playing bongo drums in the coffee houses, in New York. I mean,
there are billions of poor people in this world, and the majority of them do not turn to crime,
right?
Or at least not crime that hurts somebody. So, but they're letting go the ones who are they're hurting, pushing people in front of trains, stabbing people. Yeah. Oh, no big deal. Let them back out again.
Well, the guy who just killed the cops was a criminal. Should have been put away a long time ago. Let him out. I mean, one after another. And then the gun bill. Did you see this? Apparently, 15 Republican senators voted for this gun bill, which expands background checks for juveniles, which I hope they're trying to make that even, Steven. And this business with the red flag laws, man, I hope someone proves that has to be unconstitutional. And the other thing that bothers me, they say this is a good idea, the so-called boyfriend loophole. I don't even know what that means. In other words, if a girl and a guy, obviously not married, so they could be 18, 17, 18 years old, high school sweethearts, they get drunk and they get in a fight. She slaps him, he slaps her, maybe pulls her hair, shoves her down. She has police come to the scene, and they charge him with a juvenile something or other when he's 17 years old. 20 years later, he wants to go get himself a carry permit. Oh, no, you're an abuser. I'm sorry. If it's on your juvenile record, all of a sudden he's going to, just the thought of it. It's, people can misuse the red flag laws for the same thing. Oh, I remember I saw him slap a girl last week, Your Honor. All you have to do is get somebody to agree with you. And all of a sudden they're coming to your house and knocking on your door. I mean, it's just, and nobody's in favor of people who are going to commit crimes, having guns. But again, you start with mental health. You start with warning signs. You start with trying to be, observant. And again, this day and age, how could you not see the warning signs that are now happening since Columbine? Really, this has been going on, and the theater shooting in Colorado. Since those two things happened a long time ago.
If they're talking about killing people, they probably mean
Aurora,
it.
yeah. So again, and with social media, and everybody's on social media, so everybody sees this stuff. So anyway, again, I'm nervous about the red flag law. I'm nervous about this boyfriend loophole business. I don't know enough about it, so I'm not trying to pretend I do it, because I don't. But again, I don't like this business. This is where it starts. And these Republicans, Lindsey Graham, we figured that was going to happen, and Cornyn, who was the leader in it. And we knew all the other liberals were the liberal Republicans, idiots, and the girls, so. Speaking of the girls, now they're trying to make a big deal about Marjorie Taylor Greene. The liberal press, Democrats are trying to claim that she was demanding a pardon from Donald Trump in case she got in trouble for trying to help stop the Steele efforts after the January 6th thing. And for one thing, she's during the so-called testimony of the Ashley Babbitt Mostly Peaceful Coalition TV hearings that are on still for some reason, this girl Cassidy Hutchinson is claiming that there were members of the Republican Party who contacted her requesting pardons, but she said, well, she didn't hear directly from Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she was told that somebody told you. Oh, well, that's the same, even so. I don't know. It's just one thing after another. And frankly, I don't think anybody really gives a crap.
No one's paying
at this stage. Thank God. All right, hold everything. I don't want to talk about this. So let's do a couple of quick sports things. And then I got an old movie thing I put on Facebook, which I want to talk about. And did you know that the eye roll can be racist?
Good.
Part of white supremacy.
Let's go ahead and make it all racist.
Everything is racist. Now, first of all, Holy Crap at Sports, best podcast in America later today. Do you have anything off the top of your head that you want to highlight? Or?
Well, the NBA draft was last night. You got Freddie back in town.
Now,
Arch Manning chooses his school, stuff like that.
The two things I were going to ask you about was there was standing room only. Again, as we speak, it's Friday afternoon, and Freddie's coming in for the night game. So if you hear this later, this is all past news. Standing room only tickets on sale, obviously. And you could, I heard some people taking it under on how long the ovation's going to be, and whether it's longer or shorter than the national anthem. And you kind of have some fun because they're going to roar for Freddie.
Yeah,
and I'll bet you if he hits a home run, they'll probably stand up too. No. I think you don't think so. No. I do. I think we have a classy crowd, and I don't think they blame. Although I've seen some nasty things on my Facebook page. People put, don't take his millions to go home, or stuff like that. But anyway, so that I want to talk about that also. Arch Manning going to Texas.
Yes, sir. No surprise there. I think that when his tight end went there, I think he's wanting to chart his own path.
Yeah.
Another thing I think, because Stephen A. Smith goes, why is he going to the Big 12? And I'm thinking, it seems to me someone's told him, we're not going to be here much longer.
Yeah, something's happening.
We're coming to the SEC quicker than everyone thinks.
Well, they might as well. Who's in there
Maybe
now?
Maybe not next year, but the year after. I expect Texas and Oklahoma to be in the SEC for the 2024 season, 25 at the latest.
Which is not exactly the Southeast, you know. Which is
That's true. I don't consider Oklahoma the South, even though we share a lot of traits. Texas can be.
It's not the Southeast, it's the
Texas
West.
didn't do crap in the war,
it's the
but
Wild
but
West.
still kind of.
It's not
Texas
the
thinks it's its own
Southeast.
thing. But yeah.
And, you know, I mean, the Big 12 is. I mean, you know, it's not Maryland.
But then
or
again,
I don't know.
ESPN puts the SEC network in Charlotte, North Carolina.
I know.
A state that has 0 SEC
well,
schools.
they should just call it Conference 1, Conference 2.
Why is that not Atlanta? Well, okay, what idiot says we're going to start an SEC network? Only ESPN would go, let's put it in a state that has 0 SEC schools and not put it in Atlanta, which is the capital of the South.
Yeah, you know. When did that? Who founded that?
It was a few years ago. And why the hell Charlotte, North Carolina? That's ACC country.
I know. It's right. I mean,
It makes no sense. I don't pay. The only time I pay attention to them is when Feinbaum's on or Marty Smith. The rest of them are just wannabes.
Well, I suppose.
I guess Feinbaum wanted out of Birmingham. I don't blame him, but Charlotte's probably a nicer place.
Well, I don't know.
It's got a really cool downtown.
Well, Charlotte's a nice little
Charlotte
town.
is Atlanta wannabe, is what
Yeah, but
it
the
is.
the one cool thing is their minor league baseball team is in the middle of the city, and it's a
that's
really, really nice stadium.
I would, if I'm not living in Atlanta and I still want to be in a southern big city, I'd go to Nashville, frankly. I think Nashville's up and coming. And got more cachet than Charlotte does.
More of a music town, too.
I didn't watch the NBA. I don't really care about the NBA. I don't follow the NBA.
Don't
I've got it, my latest Sports Illustrated has
all these
couple,
people.
I have a couple things. True. I really don't follow them.
I swear I've never heard of any of them.
And so I was going to ask you whether you. I mean, apparently the number one pick was another freshman.
A Dookie?
Another Duke freshman, but everybody said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it! I thought it was going to be so and so and so and so." So I guess he was an underdog. But again, do you have any opinion or thoughts, or do
The
you even
Hawks
know
got
these
a
guys?
Dookie, and they got another guy. I forget exactly where he's from. And frankly, I don't know nothing about either one of them.
And again, it's another freshman.
We used to know these guys. Remember the NBA
Yeah.
draft
Oh,
was
God,
almost
yeah.
like the NFL. You knew who these guys
Yeah.
were. They're Bill Waltons, Abdul, people like that were coming out. Now you look at it, because basketball's changed so
Right.
for the worse.
Well, it became
you
political.
don't know who they are.
Well, I stopped
Well,
caring.
it's not political. It's the fact that they're only there 1 year and they're gone.
Well, one and done.
So
well,
you never
again,
see 'em.
I think it was. I was reading something like 3 years in a row. It's a freshman
And-
who gets drafted number one. A freshman. What is he? 18,
I know.
19?
You can't stop it though. There's no way to stop
No,
it.
you can't stop it. They're adults. Again, especially with now they can make money as a guy who just plays, which is fine by me.
There's how much money Arch is going to make in NIL,
Oh, my
and
God.
they pointed out he does. First of all, he doesn't need the money. They're all lucrative,
but he's-
rich, all the
well,
Mannings.
the
And
man
second,
probably own
he's
a franchise
He's going to
one day.
wait till he starts doing something, then he'll start getting that. In
I think
Old
he'll
school.
do the right thing. I think Archie. And again, I lived a few years in New Orleans. My final wife was a New Orleans native and is back there now. And so I knew the Mannings a little. I didn't know the Mannings, but they are very, very well loved and respected.
Nice people.
They're just really good people. And again, ironically, the one Manning kid who hurt his back and couldn't play was probably the best athlete of all of them.
Oh yeah, Cooper was a wide receiver. He was a great athlete.
And he was like Lynn Swan or something apparently at the
I
age
don't know
of
if he was that
15.
good. He had
Well,
stenosis of the neck.
yeah, and he couldn't play. His
Couldn't
back
play him.
would have
The thing is, the
crippled him.
Georgia people are upset because they thought he was coming to Georgia.
So did I. I did
I
too.
didn't think he was coming to Georgia.
Well, he probably.
He had a
I think he
relationship
probably,
with Sark that went back a ways, which if Sark was still at Alabama, I think he goes to Alabama.
Sarkisian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now Sarkisian has no excuses. He's got the two best quarterbacks this year is that Quinn Ewers, who went to Ohio State and then transferred back.
Yeah.
And then he's got, that guy must be feeling like a right winker this morning to wake up and hear the Arch Manning's coming there.
Yikes! Yeah.
But they've got the two best quarterbacks of the this year and next year, and they better win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is he going? You think he's the automatic starter?
No, I don't think he's automatic starter, at least for the first year, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not the starter.
I guess he's.
Can you imagine being
spectacular.
Quinn Ewers and you win the job and you have a little rough
Guess
first
what?
half, and you know that
Hey,
Arch
Quinn.
Manning is sitting and all the fans
Oh,
are screaming
man.
for
Yeah,
Arch.
Right. Yeah. I'll bet you Arch is going to handle it well.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think it'll be fine. I'll tell you what's fine. Getting your ammo when you want it. How about that? How about Dead Crow Defense? They are back and ready to arm patriots like you and me. This is not a gun store, my friends. This is your personal arms dealer. Let's say you're out with your buddies, your phone rings.
Out with your buddies.
Yeah, I did it again, ladies and gentlemen. What is this thing anyway? Well, it's a phone, an object with buttons on it, but never mind that now. And you get a call, and you got to say, I got to take this, guys, because this is my personal arms dealer. And after a short search, they found exactly what you were looking for. It's ordered and on the way. They don't scoff at Dead Crow Defense when you request a specific caliber of ammo that's kind of hard to find. They'll get it for you. Dead Crow makes firearm and suppressor and ammunition and gear sales easy and painless. It's like the old-fashioned personalized customer service and quality products at Dead Crow Defense. Hasn't been this easy and quick to get a suppressor in America since the 1930s. Their customers wait an average of only about 65 days to get their approval. I'm telling you, that is spectacular. Dead Crow Defense. You can find them online, deadcrowdefense.com. Well, that was easy. If you have items that are in stock right there, they ship the next day. If you're in a pinch, give them a call. Here's the number, 678-576-9117, or shoot them an email, sales@deadcrowdefense.com. That's sales@deadcrowdefense.com. Have your personal arms dealer reach out to you directly and discuss exactly what you're looking for, what you need. They'll take care of you. Please make sure you tell them that Kimmer sent you. Dead Crow Defense, your arms dealer. Thank you. I mentioned this morning on 106.3 at a morning show. Talking about cigarettes. The federal government, again, like this is the big thing right in the market now, is going after cigarettes instead of trying to find baby formula. Federal officials have now ordered that Juul cigarettes, e-cigarettes, be pulled from the market because they're blaming Juul for sparking a national surge in teenage vaping.
The Alaskan singer? The cutie?
Juul,
yeah. Cutie with the knockers?
Isn't that chick? Isn't she a redhead or something?
I had a crush on her.
Supporters say they can help smokers cut back on regular cigarettes by vaping these nicotine Juul things. But the FDA says Juul has played a disproportionate role in the rise in teen vaping. And its application didn't have enough evidence to show that marketing its products would be appropriate for the protection of the public health. Well, I would think all they have to say is testimony from, thousands of kids saying, hey, thank God I can vape because I don't have to smoke Luckies anymore. And that's not enough?
Yeah.
And by the way, that's what they're going after now, after all the things that we could be taking in terms of transportation problems and getting things inspected and vaccines that aren't approved or should have never been approved and testing, getting baby formula back out of the factories. And
that's hard.
Come on, my God.
That's hard to do.
So they're going after freaking cigarettes? It just seems a little, I don't know, a little ridiculous. The other day, I think was it yesterday? Could have been yesterday. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. I was watching, skipping around TV, and among other things, on I think TBS, or no, it could have been. It was on.
For God's sake, just pick
Turner Classic Movies. Turner Classic Movies. They were playing Dial M for Murder.
Oh, that's a good one.
The one with Ray Milland and Grace Kelly and Bob Cummings and that British actor with the mustache is very famous. I can't remember his name, but he's Van something Stupenfamp. Anyway, and I videotaped about 20 seconds of it and put it on the Facebook page because at one part of the scene they're trying to catch Ray Milland being a bad guy, and the British inspector has a purse, and he puts a key in the purse and tells his detective, take this purse back to the station because he's going to come and looking for it to find the key, which is the key to the whole thing. So he hands the purse to the detective. The detective puts his arm through the purse like a woman would and starts to walk off. And the British detective, this 80-year-old British inspector general guy says, oh, for God's sakes, you twit, you can't go outside walking like that. You'll be arrested. I swear to God, I couldn't believe it. Was unbelievable. I mean, and I remember stuff like that. You can't go around walking like that outside. You'll be arrested. And I put it on Facebook, and people saying, oh, my God, that's the way things used to be. And this was like a 4-star movie, Alfred Hitchcock type,
Wasn't homosexuality still illegal in England up until 20 years ago or something?
I think it probably was.
Yeah, it was still in the books.
Or sodomy, anyway. Yeah, and I thank God there are so many, and I see them all the time. And I love playing these little clips. Well, I played it before when Robert Mitchum would come on and say, "Yeah, that's right, baby, shut up or I'll slap you across the mouth."
My favorite was
just another dumb broad.
Cagney picks up that grapefruit half and smashes it in her face.
Yeah.
So this is kind of,
yeah, that's going to happen again.
Was it Cary Grant that pushed Katharine Hepburn in the Philadelphia story?
Yeah, I think so.
Pushes her through the door.
Yeah, I think so.
What were you saying?
the abortionist activists are now handing out pieces of paper to the public with Clarence Thomas's home address.
Oh, well, let's see how that works out.
They want a shooting war?
I'll tell you, they're asking for it. They're asking. I'm not hoping for violence, but I'm kind of hoping that if they go too far, that there'll be something that will show what these people are truly like.
Weed out a lot of them.
Again, how could they be so in favor of saving the health and sanctity of a human woman's life and body by killing, and attacking the other human body?
It's just evil. It's evil. It's demonic. It's just evil.
They're just, late term of birth abortion. I mean, it's just monsters. That's just murder.
I mean, not only we are even discussing it.
Yeah,
the Europeans don't discuss it.
Yeah,
they don't. Anything after 16 weeks
please.
is illegal
in
Europe.
Yeah.
So how are we so crazed over here?
Fly across the sea. And by the way, just out of I was scanning through newsy things on my phone and came across this that Paramount CEO Bob Bakish warns that it's a mistake to try to censor entertainment to reflect different sensibilities. And people were talking about, I think they started talking about the Maverick movie and how they originally had censored out the Taiwan flag and so forth. And he says, no, wait a minute, they had the Taiwan flag, whatever, but it got to be a whole different thing. He said, by definition, you have some things that were made in a different time and reflect different sensibilities. He talked to The Guardian. He said, I don't believe in censoring art that was made historically. That's probably a mistake. It's all on demand. You don't have to watch anything you don't want to. HBO Max, briefly remember, pulled Gone with the Wind after George Floyd's death 2 years ago and caused The View. Even Whoopi Goldberg said it was wrong to censor the older films, which is kind of hard to censor. Netflix made some recent changes to distance itself from a liberal agenda, because it started to hurt their bottom line. Subscribers were leaving by
Nobody was watching those stupid movies they were making.
Leaving by the millions. They had to lay off 150 employees because of the woke projects, and telling employees, finally, if you don't like it, quit. But again, it's wrong to censor the old movies, and all those old Turner Classic movies are so politically incorrect. It's unbelievable.
Well, Rowan Atkinson, the great British comedian, came out and said that all comedy is offensive to someone, and it has to be.
Yeah, probably.
It's going to offend somebody.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, you can't. It's comedy. Comedy ought to get a break. I mean, there are ways you can use it, as a fake, I suppose. But again, comedy, stand-up comedians really ought to get a break. It's comedy.
What happened just last couple of days where some woman got upset at a show or something and they changed it? It was a movie or a show, and this one woman called in and it was about Kroger. Kroger has these beer koozies.
Oh, God, that's right.
Beer koozies that had give me liberty or give me death, and there's a guy holding a musket or a gun. And Harris Teeter has them. And one woman, a politician, complained in North Carolina, and they pulled them.
Yeah.
They pulled them off the shelves.
He's got no balls. What have we come to?
This is a radical
then
ideology.
Don't buy one.
Yeah, it was. It was in 1776.
Again, it's typical. If a Republican doesn't want a gun, don't get a gun. If a liberal doesn't want a gun, they don't want you to have a gun.
Right.
If a liberal doesn't want to see a musket, the liberal doesn't want you to see a musket. They should just don't see the musket. Just go somewhere else or don't buy it. I mean, I can't believe this. And that's what the store should say. Hey, wait a minute. And then, of course, then they're going to get doxxed, and they're going to get social media, and they're going to get picketed, and people are going to stop buying because all the liberals are going to stick together like they always do. I mean, it's a night. I can't imagine. Yeah, well, look what happened to the MyPillow guy. My God, he's begging for customers. He's dropped things down 90%.
Walmart just kicked him out.
Walmart just kicked him out. I mean, my God, for what? He sells pillows. So you have to stand for something appropriate to the people who are buying pillows.
It's towels.
I mean, really,
the pillows are good.
These pillows.
The towels, not so much.
Well, I and sheets. I mean, why would you care what the guy who makes the company in America, an American company, a former drug addict who found God and got clean, and has a company that employs Americans to make American products, a pillow, and you have to try to shut him down. I mean, I don't.
Because they are Marxists at heart. Politics is everything to them, and everything is politics, which makes them Marxists.
It's just I mean, it's really.
They're not Democrats anymore.
They're not Americans. That's not
You
America.
and I grew up in the South where everything was Democratic when I was a kid. My grandparents,
absolutely.
But my mother said she never told her father she voted for Nixon because he would be mad she voted for a Republican.
Well, we're all Southern Democrats. We're a whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, today, and again, well, anyway.
Sam Nunn,
Sam Nunn is the best
party
example.
of Sam Nunn doesn't. Bill Clinton doesn't exist anymore.
Right, they're gone. Yeah, they've been hijacked.
And when did they win? And when were they at their top? When he was doing a centrist, a so-called centrist run.
Yeah, and that was a ball game after that.
And since Al Gore lost, they have gone off the leftist cliff.
They think, which is a mistake. They should have gone more centrist. They would have brought more in instead of chasing more out.
Do what he did: lie, say you're centrist, and then rule as a leftist.
And then fake it like President Emptyhead did. Politically correct, here we go once again. In Oregon, an elementary school has a principal who apparently is in some kind of trouble with the citizens or other teachers and so forth, and she may be on her last legs out. Well, because of that, Oregon teachers at this Errol Hassel Elementary School have sent out an email to Beaverton School District saying there's a rumor that the principal is going to be on the chopping block. And her supporters say that we believe much of the resistance to the principal's work is a result of bias and targeted aggression. As we educators have observed, experienced, and witnessed several similar micro and macro aggressions against her, a list of micro and macro aggressions include staff members rolling their eyes during meetings. It's an example of a harmful practice rooted in white supremacy in the workplace.
Good. I don't care anymore.
Rolling your eyes at the principal is white supremacy rooted.
Is she black?
I don't know.
What is she?
I don't even know.
How's it white supremacy?
I guess she is. The group is called BIPOC, which stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. So I guess she must be a non-white. Oh God!
So black people don't never roll their eyes.
Oh Lordy!
I mean, come on.
If you're talking about somebody rolling their eyes, Stepin Fetchit made a living doing it in the movies.
You talked about.
Oh Lordy! And he roll his eyes back in his head.
How many times did Mammy do it in Gone with the Wind?
Oh, Mammy!
Whenever Scarlett would do something.
Yeah, and she won an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Oh my God! One more kinky thing in schools, which I thought was kind of. Actually, I'm in favor of this, and I love the reaction to it. A school district in Texas has now set up a new dress code for the coming school year, and it bans hooded clothing. It also bans dresses and skirts. It applies to all of the schools in the district. It prohibits clothing such as hoodies, coats, and jackets with hoods inside the school, forbids students in grades 5 and above from wearing dresses, skirts, or skirts. No dresses, no skirts. The code also requires, my tongue is killing me. Hold on a second.
Just power through. Power through.
The dress code requires students to wear solid colored shirts and slacks, shorts, or capri pants in navy blue or black or khaki. The dress code prohibits denim pants, jeans, sleeveless shirts. It prohibits sleeveless shirts. It prohibits T-shirts.
What can you wear?
Overalls or clothing with holes in it. Well, you can wear. You can wear solid colored shirts and slacks, shorts or capri pants, navy blue or black or khaki. So you can wear shirts and slacks or shorts.
I wore a red and white hooded sweater the whole senior
Well,
year.
you're obviously a hood and should go to the principal's office. The policy change is intended to, quote, prepare students to enter the workforce. We have a positive and distinctive opportunity here for correcting a problem at school. If a violation is not corrected, it's going to be placed under in-school suspension until the violation is fixed, or a parent or someone else adult brings the child different clothing that fits the policy. Yes, question.
It's not really a question, but it's just different today. Today's work environment is way more casual, not to mention half the people work from home.
Yeah.
I mean, after COVID, people had issues getting back into jeans and stuff because it was just, you were wearing sweatpants for 2 years.
Well, and of course, the issue of personal responsibility, parents are saying, a girl should not be forced to wear pants if she doesn't want to, for example, and that it's unfair and wrong against the sexes for daughters to have to, so anyway, that's just, here we go again. Not much has changed. But again, of course, I went to prep school. But we would never. I don't think we ever wore jeans to school. I guess maybe we did back then.
We were allowed.
Late 50s. Yeah, I think we were allowed.
Yeah, we had wore jeans for a lot of time.
Oh, in fact, I remember, of course we were, and of course back then jeans were fairly new, and so they would all buy them way too long. All the jeans were made way too long, so you rolled them up, and that's all the pictures of the 50 hoods and everything else. That's how I wore them. We rolled up about 4 or 5 times, and you could wear them for a long time if your waist didn't change.
Did you wear white Converse or black Converse?
I didn't. I wore Keds.
It was Chuck Taylor's birthday, by the way.
Yeah, I wore Keds. I don't think I ever wore Converse. I think Converse came after my time. Day. Yeah, we wore Keds or PF Flyers. Isn't that what the Keds PF Flyers? Is that the same thing? I don't know where that's coming out of my head. PF Flyers.
I had Air Jordan.
Anyway, I thought that was fairly amusing. Let's see, one more thing. Have you mentioned this on the morning on 106.3 this morning? That now Echo Dot is helping Alexa with a new task. Yeah. Having a dead person use the dead person's voice to read you a book if you feel like talking to them.
Creepy. That, you know what? I don't know. I can see people doing it.
I could maybe understand it for kids who maybe
she tells you the weather. Your grandfather tells you what the weather's going to be today. That's pretty cool.
The only thing I would do it if it was funny. If it was like, kiss my ass, you bastard! I'll see you in hell. Or if Grandma was doing, are you watching TV again? Or something.
Wake you up like your grandmother waking you up. That would be cool.
I mean, that could be fairly amusing.
Yeah, but then you got to think about they can start using voices for the wrong reasons.
Well, that's the other thing. It's a voice assistant replicating people's voices from short audio clips of people who have died. It would build greater trust with users by infusing artificial intelligence with the human attributes of empathy and affect.
How about the AI in your house that's helping you do stuff, your household chores, everything, talks like a loved one that's gone.
Right. Yeah, and it could be used to manipulate the public through fake audio or video clips. And again, user-friendly voice cloning technology. Are we ready for this?
Well, they're already doing it in movies. They could do a whole Humphrey Bogart movie right now that he's never done.
With him, his body. Yeah,
his body and his voice.
Yeah.
Remember, we used to joke when Paul Harvey got sick. And I joked on there. I said, that man has said every word in the English language, and it's recorded.
Yeah.
They don't need Paul Harvey anymore.
I know you're right. It's true, and they're doing it in the movies, like you said. Let's see, a couple of historical musical notes. I thought might be amusing. In 1990, Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block spent 2 days in the hospital after he was in the middle of a concert in Saratoga Springs, New York, and fell through an unlocked trap door on the stage.
Why would he do that?
Yeah, actually, just walking around there and that must have been funny as hell. They must have thought it was part of the act. I can only imagine him dropping on his.
That jokester.
Oh my God! And didn't I just do a guitar auction story? All right, tell me if this is the same one. I'm going to die if this is the same one because I got 2 of them. In 1999 and in 2004, Eric Clapton put 100 of his guitars up for auction to raise money for his drug rehab clinic in 1999. In the 1999 auction, he sold the 1956 Fender Stratocaster he called Brownie, We talked about Blackstrat before. He sold Brownie. He used this one to record the electric version of Layla. It sold for just under $500,000, which was a record. And then in 2004, Clapton Stratocaster Blackie sold for just under $1 million, making it the most expensive guitar in the world.
Well, you talked about David Gilmour the other day.
David Gilmour sold Black Strat or Strat Black, whatever it was.
I could never sell my Strat. Could never.
I wouldn't think, and the Les Paul
thing
on
it. I would never.
Yeah, that's big time Charlie.
My deathbed, I'm holding it, and they have to wrestle it out.
Yeah, that's big time Charlie right there, I think. In 2012, these are all wrong, by the way. Every one about is with possible exception of one, but I think they're all. Billboard magazine in 2012, 10 years ago, came out with a list of the sexiest songs of all time.
Do you think I'm sexy?
I'm going to hold my nose for some of these. The sexiest songs of all time. 2 in the top 10 include Rod Stewart, Tonight's the Night, and Do You Think I'm Sexy?
I knew it.
Oh, I hate his voice. Oh, I can't. It's like fingernails on a blackboard.
Tonight's the Night sucks, but Do You Think I'm Sexy was a good song.
Others, it's not a sexiest song.
No, it's not.
Others include Donna Summer, Hot Stuff.
Yeah, anything Donna Summer.
Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sexual. And they say the sexiest song of all time in 2012, the sexiest song of all time from 1982, Olivia Newton-John with Physical.
No.
That's ridiculous.
Who was the other one you're talking about? Donna Summer?
Donna Summer.
Do You Feel Love is the sexiest song.
I mean, but the sexiest songs of all time ought to include some of the songs about, Hold Me, Kiss Me, and I Love the Way You Love Me by the Teddy Bears, for God's sakes. There's a million.
I tell you a song that always gets me
Dolly
riled up.
Parton and Kenny Rogers of sex, jeez.
Pump It. When Fergie starts singing it, Pump It. Her voice is so sexy.
Anyway, well, I guess we have different things for the thing. Jeff Beck, speaking of musicians, Jeff Beck. Well, he's been with a shitload of bands. When you think of Jeff Beck, 70,
he's touring with ZZ
78.
Top now.
Oh my God, another one.
Well,
oh, that's right. I think we mentioned
it's a double thing. Yeah.
Jeff Beck is 78. Mick Fleetwood, 75 today at Fleetwood Mac. Peter Weller, the actor, 75 years old. His first TV show was Lou Grant. And it's his birthday today. He's 75. And Nancy Allen's also birthday. She's 72, both in RoboCop.
I was about to say stuff. What he's always saying in RoboCop? Put down your weapon and come with me, or something like that. It's a great line.
Yeah, I gotta. He did say
what
that. I can't remember what it was. That was a fun movie. And they both were in the movie, and they both had a birthday the same day. Mindy Kaling did a lot of things for The Office and other things. 43 today. Solange Knowles, and Flounders History birthday guy, writes this. She's 36, Beyonce's kid sister and Jay-Z's worst nightmare.
In an elevator. Did you see the Family Guy where they do that? Where she's
no.
beating him up, and Peter Griffin standing there going, what do I do? It's pretty
Was he one him trying to nail her or something?
He just keeps beating the hell out of Jay-Z, and Peter doesn't know what to do.
Smacking her around. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Leave me alone. The Supreme Court on this day in 1957 ruled that obscenity is not protected by the First Amendment speech and press. Of course, you have to define obscenity. 1983, the first American woman in space, Sally Ride, returns to Earth with a Challenger space shuttle after a 6-day flight. That was the 83 flight. The Soviets beat us with a female Babe astronaut before she went in. In 1675, King Philip's War begins after American Indians massacre colonists at Swansea in the Plymouth colony.
And you read about that in Mayflower, that book by Nathaniel Philbrook. King Philip's War should be taught in every history class of America, and
nobody knows anything about it. Nobody knows that there are about 300 Indian tribes within 20 miles of the Adirondacks.
That war changed more about our New England and the entire future of this country than almost anything that happened at that time.
It's called King Philip's War, and again, if you don't know anything about the settlers and the Indian Wars and the French and the whole, my God, again, that book, the Mayflower, and what's the other didn't he do another one about?
He's done a lot.
What was the second one I read about the Pilgrims?
Well, that was the Pilgrims. The Mayflower was the Pilgrims. There's one about George Washington.
Yeah, and Benedict Arnold.
And stuff about Arnold you never knew, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, really, if you haven't read Mayflower, please do. In 1717 in London, the Freemasons are founded. Okay, now what's the truth on the Freemasons? Do they run everything? I mean, do they kill people with assassination squads? If they run all the businesses and they make you do?
That's funny you mention them, because last night I'm flicking around Facebook and they have those things, and it was two nuns popped up from 2 years ago, and they're reading from the Third Secret of Fatima. You know, where the little kids
the little
in World
girl
War I
saw the Virgin Mary. Yeah.
And supposedly Pope John Paul II, the good one, was mentioned in it, and he knew she lived into her 90s, one of those kids.
Yeah.
And the two nuns are talking about what they wrote. And they were talking how that the Freemasons infiltrate the church, and that they're just pure evil.
Wow.
And that they've infiltrated the church.
Well, that's what the long time rumor or
my grandfather was a lifelong Mason and had a Masonic funeral, which was kind of weird. All these guys showed up in black suits and everything, and just dealt with the funeral.
Pyramid hats with an eye in the middle or something.
They had these things on their chest.
They have little funny cars. 8 guys in a car.
No, that's the Shriners. Drink up, Shriners.
Those ones to put a snake in your mailbox. I don't know about these guys.
My dad
burn a question mark in your lawn. I don't know.
My dad joined and quit.
Really?
And I asked him once, because I found a box with some stuff of my grandfather's, and he wouldn't talk about it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Sworn to secret.
I forgot. That was as a kid. So
they'd kill me, son. I can't tell you.
As an adult, I should have asked again, but I just forgot about it.
Oh, my God. Well, somebody go to thekimmershow.net and give us the Freemason scoop. Or send us a thing or
there
a link
are
or whatever.
2 movies on Netflix or Amazon that actually go in and show some of the rights and everything. They got permission to go in and film a lot of it.
Really?
But I don't know if they show you the real shit.
Well, they don't show you the Tom Cruise part with the circles in the hoods and the chicks and everything.
Those are amazing.
I know.
What is the reason? What's the founding reason for the Freemasons? Like if you had to sum it up in 10 words.
Rebuild Solomon's temple, and it's supposed to base on knowledge and everything. And George Washington was a Mason. A lot of our founding fathers were Masons.
Yeah, absolutely.
The dollar bill has Masonic symmetry in it. It's just.
That's right. Our dollar bill. That's the pyramid with the eye.
Dan Brown wrote a book, which they made into the third Tom Hanks that nobody saw, or someone did it, about Washington, D.C. And I don't know if it's true, but it's fascinating.
Well, it would be fun to know. Maybe they don't want us to know. Maybe it's a good thing we don't. In 1869 in San Francisco, they officially named Mary Ellen Mammy Pleasant their voodoo queen. They had a voodoo queen officially sanctioned. 1964, the FTC ruled cigarette packs would have to include a warning that they'll kill you. And again, I mentioned they couldn't believe it this morning on the radio, on my radio segment. I used to smoke 4 packs of Luckies a day. That's true. That was not good. 4 packs of Luckies, and I still.
You're lucky because you said this morning that when the last time you had your lungs checked, that you were good to go.
My lungs are still clear, which is very hard to believe.
Could you taste anything? When you ate something, could you taste? anything?
I have great taste buds. Yeah, never affected me.
Most,
I know, and honestly, never affected me for some reason. I'm affected more now by I don't enjoy food now because of my teeth situation. Honestly, I can't.
But you had your balls cut off.
I had no, they weren't cut off. They were sliced open, and the tube was cut
that's
off.
Better.
Well, yeah,
oh, that's so much
back
better.
together
we're not
again.
Cut them off, Mr. Peterson. Don't worry.
No, we just slice the thing, tug the tube, snip, snark, squat together again, sew you up, and you get.
Okay, why didn't they just tie a rubber band around it and let them rot off like they do pigs?
And I said, "How soon can I have sex again?" And he said, "In the car on the way home, if you want to." You coward. In 1982, the Supreme Court ruled that no president can be sued for anything in the crap he did while he was president. In 2002, the Supreme Court ruled that juries, not a judge, have to decide whether to give out the death penalty. And in 1947, a search and rescue pilot named Kenneth Arnold of Boise, Idaho, a rescue pilot, spotted 9 UFOs in 1947 buzzing Mount Rainier, Washington.
Yeah.
He described their flight pattern as similar to a saucer skipping across a body of water. Mm-hmm. So newspaper reporters used the words flying saucers for the first time. Yeah. Is that cool?
That is cool.
And I'll bet it was real, and I'll bet they were, and I'll bet they've been here since forever.
He saw something, because back then, why would you make something up?
And he's a rescue pilot. I mean, he wasn't some nutbag. I mean, he's,
And Mount Rainier was not very populated back then.
Yeah,
so
and this was, there was no social media. There were no rumors about flying saucers. This was, all of a sudden, he said, oh, my God, these were 9 things that he saw. It wasn't like he saw a spark in the fly.
Flying saucers, holy crap. And holy crap, it's real estate.
Oh, no.
The real estate market is crazy, I'm telling you. Get free advice from Joe Huggins with Keller Williams. Need an all-cash offer with no showings or repairs? Call Joe and work with a Kimmer fan. Find him online at joehugginsrealtor.com, 770-599-5750. That's real estate with unreal service.
Kaboom. All right, boys, what else is happening here?
Okay, I went in Kroger yesterday.
Yeah.
Looking for a patriotic koozie. Couldn't find one. So anyway.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me that you can find chocolate chip cookies now, right? There's no problem. I think they're back.
I haven't looked recently, but I think they're back.
All right. I found my grits again. So the grits are back.
Oh, well,
That's
there you
good
go.
too. And then I found this.
Yeah.
Pillsbury wants to kill us all.
Yeah.
Cookie dough made with Oreo pieces.
Well,
Now think, it's already
cookie dough.
But
So
and it gets worse. It says safe to eat raw, eat or bake. So basically, you could open it up
They've
right
told us
there
our
at
whole-
the checkout line and start nomming on it. Nom,
they've
nom,
told
nom.
us our whole lives you're not supposed to eat cookie
Well, they've
dough.
now made it so you can.
Oh,
you don't
my
even.
God.
Americans are so lazy. They won't even wait to
Jesus.
take it home and cook it. They'll just sit there and eat it. And there are those sad middle class wine women
that's
that are
not-
sitting there.
You can't enjoy that as much as a baked cookie, can you?
Okay, well, so we had some response to it.
You couldn't wait 9 minutes? It's 9 minutes.
Jeff says, I just bought some last week. They're going down like a blue dress in the Oval Office.
Like a prom dress on Queen Night.
All right, some guy's going through an old bookstore and he found a book called Ducks. How to make them pay.
Ducks, how to
Ducks.
make them pay. All right.
So I
sir.
said, okay, here's my review. Let me tell you, I was bitterly disappointed to learn that this book is, in fact, an instructional guide to the profitable husbandry of ducks as a craft. There is not one sliver of insight about holding ducks accountable for their crimes against humanity, Earth, or God.
All that crap on the golf course and at my picnic table.
How many times have ducks, many geese will chase
Oh,
you?
God, geese are brutal. In fact, have you ever seen dogs on the golf course chasing them?
No.
When I was up at every club I belong to, they will have an afternoon or a time when they'll bring in a couple of border collies. And the guy is whistling to them, whistle sounds, and they chase the geese.
Good.
Even into the water and out of the water. The dogs will jump in the water after them to get them out, to make them fly away. And they'll chase them all over the golf course.
When I was a kid,
Without killing them. And they do it, they just get rid of them. But again, they bring them in like once every couple of weeks or whatever.
I was in Cub Scouts with Lee Mathis and Paul Sullins, and they were related to the Mathis Dairy. So we'd always have our Cub Scout stuff down in the lakes behind the dairy.
Ah.
And they tell us, don't blank with the geese.
Yeah.
And of course,
Oh,
of course, at that time, the geese are almost as tall as we
Yeah,
are.
the geese, yeah.
And they were mean.
They're vicious.
Mean. Okay, Brad says, it's so hot.
How hot is it, I wonder?
I seen a tweaker putting the copper back in his AC unit. Come on, that's hot.
That's hot.
That's hot.
Well, it's been 100. When they advertise it's going to be 100,
Well, it's only 91. I remember I asked Alexa this morning how hot it's going to be. She goes, it's going to be 91. I thought, a cold front's coming through.
Yeah, it's kind of a break.
And
If
here's
it's cloudy,
something.
it's even better.
They're gone down to the Antarctic in the permafrost. Well, actually, I guess it's Siberia in the permafrost.
Okay.
They found a 24,000-year-old organism alive.
Whoa. Like a germ, a bug, you mean?
So immediately people started doing, what was that movie? with
How is that
the
possible?
Kurt Russell, The Thing. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, The Thing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And there's I don't
Well,
think
wait a minute. That's a major... isn't that kind of a shocking
it's like
bit
a
of
few
news?
years ago, they went back to find the 1918 Spanish flu victims in Nova Scotia that were buried in
Yeah.
the permafrost.
Yeah.
And people were going, why?
Why would you want to do that, It could still be in there.
And they're afraid that they're bringing back on Mars. Mars could have pathogens that we can't
Well,
handle.
yeah.
It'll be the reverse of War of the Worlds, where they couldn't handle our common cold.
Oh, man.
So there's a.
Oh, you spoiled it. No, sorry.
There's a company going around called Roof.
Wasn't that? It was a comment. Wasn't it just a cold? They sneezed or
yeah,
what did they?
It was germs that they couldn't put up. Which back in 1800s when he wrote it, okay.
Yeah.
But when Steven Spielberg used it again a few years ago, and that movie was okay.
Was that the Tom Cruise one?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
The one from the 50s was the cool.
I kind of forgot all about it.
All right, there's a company called Roof Medic. All right, you know what they
do?
yeah,
I know this one. I like this one.
Here's what their van says. Stripping, laying, spreading, nailing, and banging. The perfect remedy for cracks and holes.
For your roof, ladies and gentlemen, for your roof.
I would definitely. Now, here's that thing Facebook says, don't lose your page. If you get a few more community standards violations, you could lose the Kimmer Show forever. Nobody wants that. Help out by appealing violations you disagree with, which I tried before, and that's when they suspended me when I appealed it. But more importantly, try to share content that follows the rules.
Oh, we don't have any bad stuff on our Facebook page.
But there it is. You know,
we have some politically incorrect stuff, but we don't do dirty stuff or raunchy stuff.
And the very thing they told me to do was what got us suspended last time when I dared to question them.
You know, it's just...
All right, it's time for...
Bad Text Theater.
Find it here. There we go.
I can only find it.
It's the waiter and the dad.
All right, let's. Where are we now?
The waiter and the dad.
The waiter and the dad. All right, here we go. You the waiter or the dad?
I'll be the dad.
Okay. Do we need to rehearse it off camera?
I'm ready to go.
All right, you're the dad. So I'm number one. I'm the waiter. I see your glass is empty. Would you like another one?
Why in the hell would I want 2 empty glasses?
Thank you so much. About 3 years ago, the Rainy Day Theater Playhouse.
All right, mister. Let's do the next one.
It's all right.
It's Friday. We can do 2.
We can do 2.
It's a son and his father.
A son
and his father.
And his father. Thank you.
Which one are you?
I'll be the dad again.
You'll be the dad again. Son of a bitch. Dad, are you going to come to my school concert tomorrow?
Doubt it. Lineup looks like shit.
No, that's funny. I dare you. I love it. Boy, any plans for the weekends? Any exciting stuff going on? Yeah, not really. It's almost July. Next week is July.
Summer's half over in a week or so. Where'd it go?
I don't know. My kid, in fact, Brady, the baseball player, got cleared to play again. His finger stitches are all done. So he got cleared to play. And the family, they're having, what a great summer they have. They are now in Nebraska for the College Baseball World Series.
To see, hopefully, my Ole Miss Rebels bring it home.
Now, did they win the second game? So they're in?
2-0, complete game.
I saw that first one, and they kind of a thing at the end there. But again, I was hoping for you.
Now, Oklahoma's good.
Yeah,
I don't expect them to win, but I'm telling you, it's best 2 out of 3. Starts tomorrow night. And
if they got rid of those aluminum bats, would change a lot.
That would give Mississippi State 1 year of bragging rights.
Wouldn't they have both men's and women's things, wouldn't they? Didn't the women, wasn't it?
No, Mississippi State won the College World Series last year.
No, I mean, in the same year that the Mississippi men's team won, the same year that the Mississippi women's didn't. Who won the College Girls World Series, the softball?
Oklahoma.
Okay,
2 years in a row.
Then if Oklahoma wins,
so we can't have Oklahoma winning baseball.
Yeah, because they would
softball.
win both men's and women's baseball in the same year. That's what it was.
It's not baseball. It's softball.
It's men's and women's sports in the same season.
What are you, Jessica Mendoza over here?
Please.
Pretending softball is baseball.
Oh my God, no. Although I love watching girls softball. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
fun.
love watching. Anyway, Flounder, anything going on for you this weekend?
Probably some pool. Might go hit some golf balls.
I may try to hit some balls.
Depends on how hot it is. You have to do it more in the evening time.
I can't. Yeah, I'm going to the stable later, so in the afternoon I may try to go out like when nobody else would be there, like 3:30 in the afternoon or something.
It's so sad that when you go to do that they have to supply your balls.
Well, again, I don't have not lost any of my balls. It's a bad sack to me. You coward! You chicken livered! Oh, you gotta touch my testicles?
Yeah, right.
Oh my God! You have a nurse will be touching them for a minute.
Let's do a Twitter. Let's do a Kimmer poll. How many agree with me about the not touching your blah, blah, blah?
Support your woman. Do it for yourself to save her from having birth control. And it doesn't change the trajectory of anything either, or whatever, visually. Bullshit. All right, now I gotta go. You're killing me. Hoorah! So, I put away my harmonica. Hoorah! Adios, goodbye, herp, semper fi. You're killing me. Like,